We all remember when Eren and Zeke were traveling through the paths to the past, when Zeke was trying to show Eren that he'd been brainwashed by his father just like he had. But did you know that if you watched very closely in a few of Season 1's first episodes, you can actually spot the adult version of Eren chilling in certain shots? Now, if you're a true AOT fan, then the chances are you've at least dabbled with listening to some of the OST. Well, one of the tracks by Klotza, sorry if I butcher pronunciation, which was played during one of the saddest moments in the entire show, Hanji's death, was heard for the very first time in Season 1. The crazy part here, though, are the lyrics. It always mentions things related to burning and fire. For example, the battle is rising, waiting for the hot wind to take our wings, and the swords that our hands wield are blazing with hatred. It's almost like the song was made back in Season 1 with Hanji's death in mind. At the very start of the season, sometime after the scouts find out that there are colossal titans in the walls, Armin made a crazy statement that would eventually come true. In the manga, we see him say it might be about time they decide to go for a walk all at once, directly foreshadowing the rumbling, and this also means that Isayama had been planning to end the show that way since very early on in the series. In episode 1, we see some of the scouts on their way to evacuate nearby villages due to a potential breach in the wall. Connie mentions that his village Ragako was in the south, exactly where the titans were coming from. And if you paid close attention, you would have noticed that after he said this, Bertholdt and Reiner had very distraught facial expressions, suggesting that they already knew what had happened to his village. Shortly after this, we see Sasha arriving at one of these nearby villages, saving a girl from this really creepy, very small titan. However, what many people may have missed about this titan is that it was actually Connie's dad. And although we didn't know it at the time, this further confirmed that the titans that were inside the walls that day were simply the citizens of Ragako after Zeke turned them into titans. After this evacuation is complete, a group of the scouts are traveling to investigate where the potential breach in Wall Rose could actually be. On their way, they briefly pass through a district called Ermik District. However, I think that there's a hidden meaning behind this name. The Japanese translation of the district is Erumihaku, and this could be a reach, but if you ask me, I'd say that sounds very similar to Eremika, the fandom's name for Eren and Mikasa. Another stop during the scouts' mission was the Utgard Castle ruins. And fun fact, this arc probably has the most details in it out of the whole rest of the season, so listen in. First of all, we see Reiner walking into this small room where Ymir is already rummaging through a box of canned food, more specifically herring. However, when she passes the can to Reiner, he was completely startled by this. The reason for why is because the writing on the can was actually in Marleyan, but seeing as they both understood the language on the can, they both revealed their true identities to each other in that moment, hinting at both of their Titan abilities. When the Beast Titan shows up for the first time, Ymir notices that there's something off about the way that Reiner and Bertholdt reacted to seeing him. Naturally, all three of them are completely shaken up by this, although it was all for different reasons. Obviously, Reiner and Bertholdt knew it was Zeke, but as far as Ymir knew, another Titan shifter had arrived on Paradis. Now, this one is probably one of the most famous details in all of Attack on Titan. Right after Ymir transforms into her Jaw Titan for the first time, while she's fighting off some of the Pure Titans, if you look very closely when one of the towers is about to fall down, you'll actually be able to see Bertholdt about to bite his hand, foreshadowing his colossal Titan powers. Speaking of Bertholdt's Titan powers, during the build-up to their reveal as the Armored and Colossal Titans, the pair start using the word warrior to describe themselves, with an intentional emphasis whenever it was mentioned. But why was this? Well, there are two reasons. Firstly, to create a sort of distinction between them and the scouts who consider themselves soldiers, once again subtly hinting at their true identities. And secondly, because they were known as the warrior unit in Marley.